Mali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. News sites across the world publish the Karakax files detailing the mass surveillance by China of Uighur Muslims. A Porto player who walked off the pitch in protest gets support from Portugal's president. The Rababs making a comeback in parts of Pakistan. And 4 dozing dogs or our animals doing stuff. And top of our news feeds, the Karakax files, documents which reveal the seemingly minor reasons that Uyghurs have been placed in internment camps in Xinjiang in China, have been published by a number of news agencies. They lay out in great detail the scale of the surveillance that the Muslim group in eastern China is under, and once again raise the pressure on the Chinese government to change its policy towards them, something it shows no signs of doing. Here's Esra.
The Karakax files. It's a document said to have been compiled by the Chinese state. It was leaked to several media outlets, including the BBC, CNN, and Deutsche Welle. The 137-page file catalogues personal information on 311 people in Xinjiang and gives the reasons they've been incarcerated. They've been sent to what the Chinese Communist Party calls voluntary re-education centres in 2017 and 2018. The government says it was targeting potential terrorists and extremists, but the files suggest the centres are simply a way to crack down on Uyghurs and people practicing Islam. The list shows people were sent to detention facilities for simply growing beards, praying, wearing headscarves, visiting foreign websites, applying for a passport, and having more than 3 children. Details about family members, national ID numbers, and the daily activities of around 2,000 people were also detailed in the file, as is how trustworthy and religious the state thinks they are. The government in the western region of Xinjiang, where most Uyghurs live, has not responded to the leak, but the Foreign Ministry in Beijing has called it nonsense, not worth commenting on.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Now, Bernie Sanders was giving a speech at the weekend and a fight broke out between 2 people who want him to be president. It was reported to be over a t-shirt that one of the men was wearing. It said on the shirt, "Black Guns Matter." He was told the t-shirt was racist. The man wearing the t-shirt is African American. The man who described him as racist is white. Here's what happened in the lead-up.
Black guns matter.
Equates to racism?
Yes, that's what you're equating to. You're equating black guns to black people, black lives. That's exactly what you're doing.
Holy shit, bro.
I hope those guns are as other people's lives.
Bro, what do you know about black lives, bro?
Turn around and bro. Why are you getting so angry? Because you know I'm right. No. You know I'm right.
Yeah, bro.
Are you not equating guns to lives?
You don't have the right to speak on black lives.
I'm not equating the shirt's racist.
And a man in Dubai did this. He flew a jetpack. So far, so boring, right? Well, no, this flight was kind of significant, actually. Well, in the world of rich people who will be able to one day fly around the world like Iron Man. The pilot took off from the ground and went to an altitude of 1,800 meters. Now, most of these kind of flights normally begin at a height like off a building or from a helicopter. This is all part of the marketing for the upcoming Dubai Expo, which the organizers say is the world's greatest show. Now, the racist abuse faced by Moussa Marega in the Portuguese league at the weekend continues to raise headlines. Support for him and his walk-off protest seem to be growing. Faisal has the details.
Government are also finding it necessary to intervene.
Any form of manifestation of racism, xenophobia, intolerance, exclusion or discrimination is not only prohibited by the Portuguese constitution, but goes against the fundamental value of human dignity and is in itself a factor of division of Portuguese society.
Some sections of Vitória Guimarães fans threw bottles and chairs at him. Marega took to his Instagram, criticizing the referee for not defending him. And he was supported by people and players from all over the world. The Portuguese Prime Minister praised the player.
This was a double win for Marega. We must all express our solidarity to him and complete disgust for this kind of behavior. And I hope it can be an example so that it never repeats itself in any other stadium. And the authorities should now act to prevent this from ever happening again.
Racism is endemic in football, and the governing bodies FIFA and UEFA seem powerless or unwilling to deal with it. Many watchers of the sport believe the only way to stop racist abuse of players is to suspend matches and dock teams' points, and for players to keep walking off the pitch. In Germany over the weekend, there was an example of how fans can fight racism. A man was removed from a game in the German third league after people around him told security he was making monkey chants at a black player. They chanted "Nazis out" as he left. Back in Portugal, it was Marega who left after scoring what turned out to be the winning goal.
Next, COVID-19. The coronavirus continues to be a big worry for health professionals all around the world. Tens of thousands have been infected in China and hundreds are known to have died. The latest research has found that most cases of it have been mild, and the sick and elderly are those who are most at risk. Despite this, some young, healthy people have chosen to go into self-imposed isolation. Look at this.
It's my second week working from home and my third week doing the self-isolation. I don't know if I can go back to my office next week successfully, but I hope so because I just do not want to stay at home anymore. I want to get some fresh air and want to meet more people. You can just go to the grocery store, and also the price of them is very reasonable. And if you do not want to go out, you can also order all this stuff online. We have a lot of apps, and you can just book a slot, then the delivery person will get your stuff and to your place. This is the bag of my drinks, the package bag of my drinks, and it's a paper bag. Very good quality, and here is a very warm notice. It has all the people's name here, the person who made your drinks, the person who packaged your drinks, and the person who delivered your drinks. It's their names and their body temperatures, which means basically all the people who have touched your drinks have done the medical check before. I stay at home every day. I have no physical exercise, so now I'm gonna do some workout at home.
All right, we'll keep spinning around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Tuesday. Well, this is Fatima. She was 7 years old and she was murdered in Mexico. People have been out protesting against the crime. They're calling for greater protection for women and girls. Now, femicide is rampant in Mexico. There are 700 outstanding cases before the courts currently. The Mexican president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, has been criticized because he blamed neoliberalism and social decay on the killings rather than the men who are killing women. This is the First Lady of Lesotho. Her name is Moussa Marega, and she's on trial for the murder of Lepelelo Thabane. That's her husband, Prime Minister Thomas Thabane's former wife. The First Lady is accused of hiring assassins to kill Lepelelo Thabane in 2017. The First Lady denies all the charges. The Boy Scouts of America filed for bankruptcy. The group is facing a series of abuse allegations, and the decision to declare the organisation broke forces a deadline for which people can bring abuse claims against them. Research from last year found that almost 8,000 Boy Scout leaders have been accused of sexual abuse since 1944. Now, the potential of a peace deal with the Taliban has brought with it a revival of music in Pakistan, and one instrument in particular looks to be having a resurgence.
This is Pakhtun's culture. They enjoy it and play it in their gatherings. People play mangai, rabab, and feel happy. We make these rababs, and it is known as the king of all musical instruments.
Most of the singers, some male and some female, were killed. Others feared for their lives and fled the country.
Now the situation is good, very good. We can play anywhere, whenever people invite us.
It's very difficult, and it takes a lot of time to set free fear from the minds of the artists.
And last up, some animals doing stuff. Well, as you're about to see, they're not really doing very much at all. Now, this was filmed at the Üsküdar Marmaray train station on the Asian side of Istanbul. You've heard the phrase, "let sleeping dogs lie." Well, this is exactly what's happening here, as these four poochers get some respite from the cold with what looks like an excellent snooze at the station. It's been watched millions of times. The OP posted the video on Instagram with the caption, "They call it chaos, we call it home," which is a well-known saying about the city of Istanbul. And that'll do from the newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. You'll find me at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel and follow me on Twitter. Follow, subscribe and add. See you again tomorrow.